Yeah.
What number were you thinking of?
That's for
He's
me to
never
know.
told.
I've never told him.
I don't even know what number he's ever thinking of.
I can tell you this: nobody's ever guessed it.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah. So you're in a.
She has a mix of disappointment and anger on her face right now.
Yeah.
She likes you a little bit less.
Yeah, I
than
can
she
tell.
did, like just before.
Yeah. Maybe I think maybe like the very last episode, I'll let everybody know what.
Is it always the same number?
I don't know. Maybe. I can't divulge that information. Like I said, a farewell episode. The farewell episode.
So we're planning.
Okay, so you have to bring me back, is what I'm hearing for the farewell episode.
Okay.
Yes, we'll bring you back for at least the farewell episode. Yeah,
that's a good.
So this way we can.
I like to know things. I need to know.
I see that.
Yeah.
You have my favorite reaction to this though, right now of all time.
We've had a few people that were like
from all time.
But wait, what? And we tell them no. We answer we ask the questions here, but I don't think anybody's really like pushed the issue like this, and I love it.
I'm a big fan of this.
I like this.
I like this. Right? Yeah, for sure.
I might ask more times. Just maybe you'll be nice. Like maybe 10 more times.
Maybe I'll flip. Maybe I'll flip.
Bacon is my podcast. Bacon is my bacon is my podcast. Bacon is my.
Hey, we're about to jump into our episode with Laura Pieri.
Laura
Pieri.
Yes.
It's awesome. She's awesome. You saw 7 questions. She's great. So before we get in there, we just want to say, hey, if you haven't checked out Frankie yet, definitely go check it out. That's her EP. You can be found where?
At Me My Own Self, Mike.
I'm at Jimmy G's Shoes. Your band is
Something Heavy at Something Heavy Music.
My band is Craven Strange at Craven Strange everywhere online. Check it out. Check us out. We appreciate you. And to our patrons, thank you. Jump on patreon.com/bacon is my pod.
Yes. No.
Cast.
Yeah. Patreon.com/bacon is my podcast. That's where you can find all sorts of.
It.
No, you weren't.
I was actually.
No, you weren't.
No, that was honestly what I was trying to do.
Yeah. Whatever.
That was for real.
Whatever. Anyway, yes. Patreon.com/bacon is my podcast where you can get these episodes early and ad-free every week. Also, you can get to join in live when we do discussion and drinks. And you can interact and sound off on the show. Tell us what you're thinking about. Tell us what you don't like about the show. Tell us, do it in real time. We'll talk to you about it. Also, go to baconismypodcast.com. That is where you can find all of the things Bacon is My Podcast, including our sponsors. Thank you to our awesome sponsors all over there. You'll hear them throughout the show as well.
And here we go.
Hey, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
I don't think you're the problem. You know what the problem is? Nobody knows where to find us online. That's the problem.
Well,
They're
I think there's...
Sometimes I go to YouTube. Sometimes I want to go to Spotify. Sometimes... How do I know where I can find everything Bacon?
You know what there is? There's one place that has everything, all-encompassing. It's baconismypodcast.com.
A solution!
Exactly. You ever want to listen to our music?
Yeah.
Or know where to find us on YouTube?
Yeah.
Or on Apple Music?
Yeah.
Spotify?
Yes.
Maybe grab some shirts? Find some sweet deals on some sodas from drinkwildbills.com? Or maybe some beard product from Mythical Beards?
Maybe you want to pick up a Poddex.
Use the promo code BACON on all of those websites and get 10% off. But if you can't remember that, just go to baconismypodcast.com, hit sponsors. You're right there. Yeah. Tells you everything.
Find everything about us. Leave us a comment. Ask us a question. And always remember to ask yourselves every single day.
What's your bacon?
What's your bacon?
I'm excited. And I'm going to mess up the name.
I know. I can't wait.
I know he's like waiting because
I can't wait.
I classically mess up everybody's name.
He messes up names like
Listen, Just for the record, I will always respond to Laura. I have just recently started pronouncing it how it's supposed to be, just because I've been saying Laura for the longest time since I moved to America.
Right.
And my mom she stopped in her tracks. I was actually like on the phone talking to her. I was like, yeah, no, I'm Laura, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, that's not the name I gave you. And I was like,
Oh. All right,
so,
Mom.
okay.
All right, Mom.
Okay, I guess I'll start telling people it's not. And I respond to both. It's just, I guess it's been 10 years since I've been in the US. I'm trying to honor my heritage a little more, trying to honor my home, my roots.
Hey,
So
that's
I go with
awesome.
Lauda now, but it's always hard. People think the R is a D. Starbucks is always a nightmare. If I say Lauda, they like love writing Lauda. I don't know where,
Right,
but they love that.
They take carte blanche with everybody's.
I think it's a fun
they
thing
do.
for them.
They do.
Yeah,
I think
for
it's a fun
sure.
thing. You're lucky they don't put like 3 Ds.
My favorite
Sure.
one so far is like Lara, because I'm like, I
Oh,
see
right.
how you
Lara?
got here. Yeah, I'm like, I see how you got here. Points for creativity. This makes sense.
Right. Like Croft.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Huh?
I didn't think of that.
I think
So
that's
today-
I think that's an LARA.
We have a super talented singer, songwriter, Laura Pieri.
Nice.
There we go.
Job, dude.
Coming IAHA.
I am so impressed.
I am super excited because I got to listen to the whole EP.
Yeah,
Frankie. Yesterday, I was sitting outside enjoying a cold beverage in the sunny weather, and just hanging out in the backyard, and put this new EP on, and it was really awesome. It was really cool. Really, like, I don't know. It's like good vibes. Like it's heavy stuff, for sure, but there's like good and empowering vibes on this EP. And if you get a chance, go to the YouTube, check out the visuals. And actually, as it turns out, today, when this episode drops, her first full short film will be out.
Oh, look at that.
I was looking at the phone because I was like, okay.
Right, finding out the date this comes out.
But yes.
Yeah.
So, Laura.
Yeah.
Laura, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I really, really am.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm excited to see this short film, because I mean that's kind of the way of the future. We were talking about it like with a lot of people in the past, and like visuals and music coming together is like, it's so cool. It's always inspired me a lot. So tell us a little bit about the thought process behind creating like the visuals with this whole EP. Was it something that you wrote the EP with this in mind, or was that more of a just like, yeah, you wrote the songs and you're like, okay, I can create a story out of this? Like, is this stuff that you just see as you're writing?
So I don't know if you can tell by the everything about me, but I'm like a super dramatic person. It's just something, I came out of the factory this way. This is how I am. And I've always been this way. And like when I was really young, I even used it as a teaser for this project. And I used to be obsessed with Little Mermaid, and I would make my mom and my grandmother build me sets so that like, and help me build me costumes so I could embody the essence of the project.
I was going to ask if that was, because I saw videos of little Ariel. I saw some stuff on your TikTok and stuff.
Yes, it is very much connected. I made my parents stay together, and then I sent that video to a friend, and she was like, "This is insane." And I was like, "Yeah, it's a rehearsal." She goes, "This was a rehearsal?" I was like, "Oh, absolutely, this was the rehearsal." And I hate that. Like, I feel like saying like, "Oh, I'm a musician," is so not exactly what I am. Like, that's something I also am, but even in the grand scope of other people who are dedicated to the craft, I think that they are much better than me, and they're also way more intricate in their dedication to musicianship, because in my mind, I very much consider myself an interdisciplinary artist. I engage with, and I participate in, and I create in many different disciplines. And for me, my art comes in when it's all together. Like, that's when I see I've made something. Music, it just happens to be kind of the inception of everything, and the path that I use to really lay out my stories. But they're never just in a vacuum. It's never just sound for me. I was writing when I decided to write Frankie, I already knew what I wanted it to be. I had been sitting with the concept and musical themes. I knew I wanted to have. I knew I wanted it to be very pop, but have a kind of like dark pop influence in it before we even started making the music. And when we went in to do, I knew like, hey, I need tracks that each has a designated role to play here. Where this is the story guide that I'm following through. Now, how those stories came about was very track by track basis. And there are a couple of songs that aren't on the project that were important to flesh out, even to see like, okay, this doesn't go, this goes, this doesn't go, this goes. And not every project is like that. Like a few of my other songs, Sail Away is a song that I have that I was in the studio one day just making music, and it just came about naturally. So that one, music came first. But with a project like this, it was very together. And I had the aesthetics of this project, both visual and sonic, very clear in my head before anything was made, before videos were shot, before photos were taken, before anything was done. I knew exactly who this character was. And she was important to me. She was there to play a role, and she was mine when I needed her. And then once me and her had like made our peace, and I like felt like she was no longer within me, but just like now a part of me, I was like, I can go in and work on this now, because it's like for everybody else as well. It's time for me to like send her off into the world.
That's
awesome.
so interesting. I always think of songwriting that same way. It's, songwriting is always so personal to me, and I know like I have I have a quote from you that like really spoke to me from like an old interview you did, and you said every time I'm happy, I'm unsafe. Artists need the pain. And so I've always thought of like songwriting and songs as like trying to figure something out that's in you, within you. And then once you figure it out, now you're allowing it to exist for somebody else. And you can kind of like let go of that. So I know that this was kind of, or at least the way that I understand it, this Frankie is kind of like what you imagined a farewell to this business should look like for you. How close were you to that, and where are you at now that you've seen like made it real? You know what I'm trying to say?
I do. Absolutely. It's crazy to think about it because so much time has passed. But a couple years ago, right after the pandemic, I was in LA, and I was just looking at what it takes to be an artist today, and what's required of artists today to be able to do the craft that you want to do on your own creative terms, instead of do things for the commerciality of it all. And I was like, this is going to take me another 10 years. Like, I've just put 10 in, and it's going to take me another 10. And I felt so, I don't want to say drained, but I was so disillusioned with what I saw around me. I was working with a lot of artists who were very unhappy. And it wasn't no fault of their own. I people who are incredibly talented, whose music deserved to see the light of day, but their labels wouldn't let them, or they were being held back by different. There's 100 reasons why music doesn't get put out, right? And I just said, I don't want that to be me. I'm not happy making music anymore. I haven't sung things I want to sing for years now. I just don't think, maybe, you know what, maybe this was like a dream, and that's all it really should have been. Maybe it should be just for me and me. Maybe that's where the craft should exist, which there isn't any less merit in that. I know a lot of incredible artists who just don't decide to put out their stuff. And I was like, so I'll do something else. I made this decision on a Monday, and on Tuesday I'd packed my bags and I'd moved back out of LA, back to New York.
We're pretty all or nothing, huh?
Yes. And I was like, I got to do something else in my life. I applied to get my MBA. I was like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a corporate girly. And music is just going to be like the fun fact that I give about myself when I introduce myself at meetings. That's going to be what it is. It's fine. I made my peace with it. I started, and I was fully like grieving, not just a career, but an experience that that was so much, was everything to me. And now I was intentionally saying this is going to be a fun fact, a hobby, a soundbite. And when that started happening, I found myself creating more than ever before. I could not, it was just pouring out of me. I was painting more, I was writing more songs, I was singing a lot more, and I was having fun with doing all of those things. I was writing like not just songs, I was writing like short stories, poems. It was just an onslaught is kind of how it felt. And then I was like, oh my God, like I'm drowning in my feelings all over again. Like I was drowning in the absence of my feelings 6 months ago, and now I'm drowning in them all over again. And I had to like stop pretending that this wasn't such a big part of my life and sit with everything that was happening. And the more I sat with it, the more clear that it was one cohesive project that I was slowly touching upon and like everything that I was doing. Mm-hmm. I had been painting like pomegranates and bones for like the longest time. And I was like, okay, this is one thing. I'd been working with like painting pearls a lot, and I had been writing a lot of poems, and things have colors for me before, and textures before they have ideas. And it was always like water was a big part of this. And I was like touching up on all these themes, and they were all connected. And at one point I was like, okay, well, I already have the bones. Might as well just like write the music. Then once I wrote the music, it's like, well, I have the music and I have like the outline of the story. Might as well just like make the videos. And then once I was like, okay, I'm here again. I guess I should stop pretending that I'm not going at it full throttle once more. And I'm really grateful for my break. It was about 2 years that I took off, give or take. I'm very grateful because I really think it allowed me to be passionate again, to fall in love with this craft once more. Like I remembered what it was at like 11 years old that I loved about this. I remembered like I felt connected to that feeling of like being in the audience, watching Cher and being like, I want to do that. I remembered what that felt like. And for so long, I had become so disconnected from that feeling. And I started caring so much about like, what do I look like? How much weight do I have to lose? Am I commercial enough? How do I sell myself? And
right.
That was poison to me. And
absolutely, yeah.
Leaving all of that behind and just making art because I thought it needed to get made me fall in love with everything again. And then now I'm getting to share this that was made without the intention of being shared. And I think that that's special because it's an opportunity to be like, hey, I didn't think people would see this. I made it for me. And it healed so much of me. And I think it could heal so much of you too. Like, here is it for everybody else now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you think it was like your brain kind of going like, no, this is what we want to do. This is your brain and your heart, like trying to like snap you back into it? Or do you think it was just the fact of taking yourself off of the hamster wheel and saying, I need to do something for me? And then really, because I mean, that's the best art anyway, is the art, at least in my opinion, the best art is the art that you do for you. And then everybody else gets to make what they want out of it. But
I think it's both. I think that starting with Dante, I started making music that was more in line with who I was as a person. Mm-hmm. But I very much was still on the hamster wheel. And I do think that like getting off of it was an important part of giving myself the time. And I don't think people understand how much time music requires, not just to make, but just to like, you have to live with it before it goes to everybody else. And I don't think I quite understood what that meant, to be honest, until very recently. Like I've been living with this project for over a year. And when I wrote it, when I made it, it wasn't like, to me now it's jarring how obvious I was synthesizing my own experience. But at the time, I very much was like, this is about a character. This has got nothing to do with me. Of course, no, it's my feelings, but it's not my story at all. And I think that time is important for you to also get reaccustomed with yourself and the art you're making. So I definitely think it's both. I think that it's making things because I think it needs to get made. I also think it's making without the pressure of like, hey, we need a new single, go get in the studio and go make a single.
Right.
And I made a body of work, and I'd never done that before. I've always done singles up until then, and I set out to do this differently. And that, I think, is what brought me the most joy. Like, I definitely think I'll put out singles, but I very much see for myself more projects, because that I enjoyed putting it together. I enjoyed tying it all together with the visuals, and I can't wait to bring this on stage because that's its own kind of narrative. And I'm getting the chance to dance, which is something that I've, for over 10 years now, I haven't gotten the chance to do how I used to when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really allowing like kid Laura to kind of take the driver's seat. And then once she's done, I kind of take over, and I'm like, okay, now let's be objective about this.
Right.
We can't be falling from the moon. That's a great idea. Love it. Not executable.
Right.
It's that balance, I think. But keeping the kid in you alive is something that I think is so important that I grossly underestimated.
What's up, buddy?
Ew. I know it's cold.
Indeed.
So you want to get the sweaters going.
No. I reject that. And I'll tell you why.
Why would you do that?
Well, you don't put gloves on furry hands, do you?
Well, no.
No, you don't. So you know what? I like to keep my beanbag clean like my palms.
Yes.
That's right.
The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is out now. It's got the skin safe technology you used to.
Does.
It's got the LED light like you used to. But this one,
extra head.
it's got the foil blade.
Oh my god, the foil blade. It's nice for the crevasse.
Exactly. So it, hooks up your nether regions.
Goes right up the Mississippi on the one side and the Rio Grande on the other side.
Exactly. So go to manscaped.com, use the promo code BACONPOD for 20% off, plus free shipping.
Yeah, indeed.
And it's not even just for this, right?
No, it's for anything on there.
Exactly, especially
Our favorite,
the crop mops, the ball and butt wipes. If you see us, we always give them out.
We'll hand them to you.
Exactly.
They'll
But
be in the package, it's okay.
if you don't see us,
No.
manscaped.com, promo code BACONPOD, 20% off of those bad boys.
Free shipping.
And always remember to ask yourself,
what's your bacon? I'm getting pretty excited because it's almost time to grill.
it's always time to grill. You know why?
I know.
Because I use grillyourassoff.com. All their stuff is fucking fantastic.
Well, I will say you don't even have to grill outside, even though you do all year round. I don't all year round, but I use all their stuff inside as well.
Yes,
So I
exactly.
still get the flavors.
Exactly. Everything from their seasoning to their sauces to their hot sauces. And you know what? They also provide delicious snacks.
They do. We actually tried some on the show. We got some cowboy style beef jerky right here. Their jerky is really, really good.
It's really flavorful, really delicious, and you can have your own. If you go to grillyourassoff.com,
Indeed.
if you go to grillyourassoff.com, use the promo code BACON, and you get 10% off your entire order.
Nice.
And not only will you be helping us out, but you'll be helping out veterans and first responders.
Yeah.
Because this company is veteran owned, and it's super badass, and we love these guys. Almost a day one sponsor with this show,
That's true.
and we are going to support them forever. Super
Check out
cool
their
guys.
site. Check it out. Taste the freedom. If you don't know what you want to get, go ahead and use their product finder quiz.
Yes.
And set yourself up. Figure something out right now over at grillyourassoff.com.
And always remember to ask yourself,
What's your bacon?
what's your bacon?
Or what's on your bacon?
Bunker bacon bourbon barbecue sauce. That's what's up. What I really love about this whole thing is, again, you said that this is a project, this is a body of work, and like for the past 3 years or so, like for the most part, we talk to people who are trying to come up in the business and put out these bite-sized pieces that, these short
music
quick
in the TikTok
bursts
world.
in a TikTok world. Like, we even talk about it all the time with where
Your video budget is for
10 videos that
10, 20-second videos.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. So you can just have it on a loop on TikTok or have it on a loop on your Spotify, and that's your budget. And you did completely opposite, and you went.
Yes.
So how long did it take you to like make this all work into a short film, and how long did it take you to like film it and all that kind of stuff? And you have people in the background kind of going, hey, that's not what people are doing now. That's not,
Oh my God. Everybody told me this was a terrible idea. Everyone.
Right.
Like unanimously.
That's how you know it's the best idea.
Right.
That is how you know.
I was told what you just said. Don't invest money in this. Do invest in TikTok content and invest in Reels content. That's where it's all going to go. That's where you need to be putting your effort in. I don't like doing that. I'm very spotty with my social content because I don't like to do it. I don't think that it's authentic to me. And I think that people can see right through that. So I'm not going to make content because I have to. Because people will know. They're going to be like, this doesn't feel genuine. Right. But what I made felt genuine. So I thought that it was more important to me to go do that. And I understand that like I am sacrificing reach by doing that. And that's fine because the right people will find what I make and they will connect with it and they will find me and I'll find them. And then we'll have our little community of weirdos and that's fine. I'd rather have a small community of weirdos and a mass community of people who just kind of like follow me because I put makeup tips online, but I also happen to put out music. That's not really it. And I am like a makeup artist. I could do that. Not to like toot my own horn. I could do that, but I just don't think that it's something that I would feel it's sincere to my messaging in a lot of ways. Right. I might eat these words later if I do decide to like, actually, I would like to do makeup content, but that's a journey for Laura in the future. She'll decide.
You reserve the right to do anything you want at any different time and change
our minds. Absolutely.
That's what we are. We're evolving. We're always evolving.
Yeah.
And to make this, I do deserve, she needs to be sent flowers and chocolates and so much thank you. Gabby from Cake Studio, she's based out of Brazil, but she operates here in the US as well. I came to her a year ago. I had the songs, they were all just demos. And I gave her a 50-page PDF with everything. Like it was, I had every thought I've ever had about this project in that PDF. And it was from lyrics to what I wanted the cover to be, to what I wanted the music videos with timestamps, with everything was written out, and I had a bunch of references and color schemes and motifs and themes. I gave her this 50-page PDF, and I was like, "You make this possible. That's your problem now. Like I came up with this. You go make this possible."
That's awesome.
And actually, so my EP came out May 31st. Our first meeting was almost exactly a year ago from that day.
Okay.
And we started with See a Tragedy, which is the animation.
Mm-hmm.
We thought that was the best place to anchor this entire project around. So it took us like 4 or 5 weeks just to get a kind of, this is what we want for the, like, it's, if you've seen it, it's in the middle of nowhere. There is no background. And that's a key component to where the story that comes out later is that this is in a fantasy land that's floating in space in a way. Because it isn't, it's a part of somebody else's daydream in a sense.
Right.
So we did all of that. We did the animation, and then I also had school because I'm still getting my MBA. So I have class all day long from like 9 a.m. usually, sometimes all the way up to 9 p.m. And so we had to pick when to shoot very carefully because I can't just be like, bye guys.
Right.
And I can't do that. Attendance counts for school.
I got class today.
For Thanksgiving, we booked to shoot and we shot all those videos in 3 days. We did all of them all at once.
That's a lot in 3 days.
Yeah, those were very long days. God bless everybody on that shoot. It definitely helped that like I did a lot of the work for it, in the sense of it wasn't like I showed up on set and be like, so what are we doing? Like, no, we knew exactly what was happening. We knew we had pre-approved everything that was going to be on that set. I did the styling myself. So it was easy for me to also I brought what I was going to be wearing. And the hairstyling also, we had help on set, but it was something that we had done prior. So we didn't waste time on set figuring out what things were going to look like. We just came in, we shot, and then we spent the next 2 months in editing. As you can tell, I have a lot of opinions about everything. So it was a lot of back and forth too, of like getting this just right and getting on calls and getting in meetings. And this nothing would be possible without Gabby. She is a fantastic champion of this project. An incredible leader. She knew when to be like, you need to stop. Now you need to trust me and let me do what I do. And I really respect people who can push back against me with a kind of with respect, because it's not saying like, you don't know what you're talking about, get out of here. It's very much like,
right.
I know why you are obsessing over the details. Don't. I got this.
Right.
And the entire process, she just proved again and again and again why she is incredible and why it's such a joy to work with her. I actually we're already, our group chat already has like ideas for our next project happening.
Nice. Awesome.
I'm very dependent on her at this point for my visuals. So the future projects, everything probably will come from her. And it's just amazing
when you find somebody to work with.
That's what I was going to say. When you find your team, you find your people.
Yeah. 100%.
And she speaks Lauda now, which is a really hard language to speak. And she's already very fluent in it.
That's amazing.
I have a question that transition, because we're talking about her speaking Lauda. I wanted to talk about real quick. Your first language was Portuguese.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked this, one of my old bands, my guitar player was from Brazil, and his first language was Portuguese. And so I asked him this as well, and I find it fascinating. When you are coming up with ideas, when you're thinking, when you're daydreaming, are you daydreaming in Portuguese and then having to translate, or even when you're having a conversation with somebody, are the thoughts in your head coming up in your first language and then you're translating them? Or have you lived and been in situations where you're just speaking English so much at this point that you think in English as well? It has nothing to do with music or anything, but I just find it fascinating.
So, well, it does, because English is a very tongue-based language. We use our tongue a lot when we're speaking English, but Portuguese is a very mouth-based language. Like, you use your entire mouth when you're speaking it. Like, you use this part right over here, which people listening, I apologize. I'm it's the back of your throat, like this lower jaw area, which a lot of people don't.
If you're listening, just jump on YouTube and watch the video version. But if you're listening, she is talking about right behind the ears, right back towards the back of the jaw. Like
the g sound, we have a lot of those sounds in Portuguese that are very difficult for Americans to reproduce. Mm-hmm. Or like the word for no is no, like the no. That's kind of like a hard thing to get around. And it's kind of like shifting gears for me. Like if I'm clocked in Portuguese, I am speaking Portuguese, I'm thinking Portuguese, it's all in that language. And if I'm clocked in English, I'm thinking in English, I'm speaking English, I'm very clocked in. And if I'm either daydreaming or something, it's sim language. Absolutely, it's not language. It's nowhere, it's Simlish. It's whatever my brain has interpreted to be speak. And I thought that was true for everybody. And then we were having this discussion, and people like, yeah, what language do you like dream in? I was like, you dream in language? What?
Well, I think it comes from so growing up in America, we stupidly don't learn enough of the languages. Right. So it's super common, unfortunately, for a lot of Americans to only speak English. So when we do take other languages, we're taking them in high school, and it's not even like immersing yourself in the way that you would if you were like, I want to learn this for a purpose. It's like, I'm learning this for a grade. I took 3 years of German, and I can barely string together anything anymore, you know. But when I was kind of doing it, we played euchre in class and had to speak in German, and that was it. He wanted us to be conversational. But still, though, I never got to a point where I wasn't thinking in English first and then having to translate. Even when it was quick, it was like I still had to do that. There was still that thing happening. So I always wondered, like, if it's the same for people that grew up with one language but then moved somewhere and kind of like learned it not in like a scholastic setting. And
well, I learned English at school. I didn't learn it when I moved here. It was something that I already learned before moving in Brazil. I spoke English, and I went to an American school, so half of my classes were in English.
Oh, okay. So
that was very helpful.
Yeah.
For me, it very much gave me, I think, that this like base for understanding not just like American curriculums and being able to plug into that, but also what it's like to the slang and stuff like that.
Sure.
But to this day, there are things that are said that I'm like, and what is that? And I've been here for 10 years.
Right.
And like food is a thing that is very difficult for me in English still. Mostly because when I'm talking about food, I'm usually talking to my parents. So I'm talking Portuguese.
Okay.
And I think that like there's a study, I think that like bilingual kids, their brain is different. Like actually the way that their brain creates pathways is different than people who are like
I would believe that
monolinguistic.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that I feel like that it's a thing of like you get used to not real people say like, oh, you speak 2 languages. I'm like, I actually almost speak 2 languages because I feel like I'm lacking in both in really specific ways.
Okay.
And I speak like a little bit of Spanish and a little bit of French, and then it starts getting real confusing. And then you know words for something in this language, but not words for another thing in other languages. It's never really comfortable, I feel, but it's.
Do you have favorite words for things in certain languages where you're like, no, I'm not going to call it that because this word's better?
I like bubbles. Bubbles is my favorite word.
Bubbles.
I think.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good word.
Yeah.
I think it's joyful no matter how you slice it. It's impossible to say bubbles while angry. If you try, you just
could say it while you're angry, but you can't be angry about it.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. Even like if you're angry and you say it's like, let's say someone's angry that the bubbles are overflowing. It's like, well, the bubbles. It's like you just no.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
You curse more about the water on the floor than the bubbles coming out of the
Yeah. I really like bubbles.
Damn bubbles.
Yeah.
This is never a thing anybody ever says. For real. They never hold on to it.
No, for sure.
Still mad about the bubbles, are you? No. No, I'm not.
Something else that you have like you kind of have weaved within your music and stuff, and obviously we talked a little bit about it at the end of 7 questions is you like a little bit of like the lore and stuff like that. Are you into like the paranormal and cryptids?
Yeah, what are you nerdy about?
Yeah, what are you nerdy about?
Oh God, I'm about to expose myself. I'm very nerdy. I love lore, period.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's like I love the lore of Witcher 3, for example. But I also love the lore of like Real Housewives. Love both.
Nice.
I'm a fan of lore, period. If anybody has like just endless, for example, I'm seeing right now a TikTok trend where it's people explaining their dictionary with their friends. And it's like, what do we say when? And it's always something really strange and real specific. It's like, I love it when people have lore because friends can have prod of friends have lore because all that says is like history has been lived here and recorded and like is being remembered in a way. And I think that the act of remembering is such a rebellious one to like remember anything, to record history. It's already so revolutionary to do. And I love learning about that. It's also great for me because I have hyperfixation moments. Like I'm really into the lore of like House of the Dragon right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that all of that, I don't think he'll ever finish the books. Maybe he'll hear me say that and do it just out of spite, please. But I don't think he'll ever finish the books.
Prove
me wrong. Yeah. And the lore of Dune. I love, like, I don't know if you guys read the books, but every time I
did.
watch it, all I could think was Worm Boy because of his son.
Yeah.
And it just I love that. I love, and I appreciate any and all kind of, if it's cool and if it's weird and if it's a plot line that I can follow, fantastic.
Nice.
I like that.
I love that, though. I love the idea of lore being something that you can have between in friendships and inner things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's so true. You have your things with your friends that no one else has to understand. And when a new person comes in, they got to be caught up.
Yeah,
on all the stuff. I never thought of it. I love that way of thinking of it. That's super cool.
Yeah, it's like that with artists. Like, you look at giant artists like Taylor Swift has so much lore.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane. And then even Beyonce has it's so much lore too, and it then gets self-referential in their own music, and that's also a way for you to tell more of a story. And there's always going to be like the lore, the person, and then like the human being, and they're all different things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a cool way to like self-mythologize, I guess, in a lot of sense, like for the artists that have enough lore where they can refer to it in their music. It's amazing to watch, to see, and then to have like the fans watch them like dissect and pick at it. It's very much like fans of stories that are very much fictional stories that are happening around.
It's so true. It's like a fan of an artist acts very similar to a fan of like a movie series or a TV series or something like that. So like, I liked it up until it got to this point where it jumped the shark.
Yeah.
I liked before they got all artsy, back when they were cool.
Yeah.
Like Metallica fans and Star Wars fans are very similar.
Oh yeah.
They hate anything that came out after the 90s.
What is like the deepest rabbit hole of lore that you've gone into, and like maybe even the most confusing in terms of like open ends?
Oh, okay. I have to think about that one. I definitely think that trying to explain Dune to people has been very challenging. There's just so much that happens, and it's like, oh, it's 3 books. Like, no, it's 9.
Right.
But
you'll people just saw either the old movies or they're just seeing the new ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're like, there's a lot more than this.
Absolutely. Or and people don't get the references, and then they're like, I didn't even realize that this is like Middle Eastern inspired. And it's like, where did you think that the name really? You heard Lisa and Al Gaib and you thought this feels American.
This feels yeah. That's totally
but
Kansas, right?
That's my point. But my favorite thing that I've really kind of been obsessed with recently kind of happened as Dune was coming up and getting popular. One of my favorite stories is 1001 Nights. Mm-hmm. And I was just looking back and rereading the stories and going into the various retellings of it. And I mean, it's got its good and its bad. It's partially responsible for the idea of like Orientalism that we have. And it's like everybody is wild and a savage and whatever, and it's like that's not what it is. Right. These stories like have to be fantastical because this girl's head's on the chopping block, and just looking in and then seeing like Sinbad, which is a story that happened then, but you can see it's on Popeyes too. There's a character on Popeyes that comes up and it's Sinbad as well. Mm-hmm. And then there's just different movies that come around from it. And then Sinbad took me to the Disney movie that's like Pirates in Space. Of course, the name escapes me now. Treasure Chest. Not Treasure Island. Treasure Chest. Something.
I don't know that one.
Okay, well, it's a passion project of the 2 guys who made The Little Mermaid, I'm pretty sure, and they made The Lion King, and they were coming off of this like amazing success, and they had said all that they wanted to do was to make this movie where it's pirates in space.
Treasure Planet.
Yes.
Okay. I always think Ice Pirates.
Our crack research team.
I think Ice Pirates
was able
that's
to.
An old movie about pirates in space.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So it's incredible. And what I find amazing about that movie is that it uses a type of animation that we see in Tarzan when like he's running through the the jungle, it's a mixture of 3D and then painted animation, where like they use modeling to create the space and a combination of like the painted backgrounds to make both work together.
Mhm.
At the time, very, very expensive to make, which is why Tarzan has like a few select moments of it. If you watch this movie, you'll notice that almost the entire movie is made in this exact brand of like merged animation. And
Wow.
it was accidentally a flop. I don't know why, because I think it slays till today. I think it's amazing.
I
Yeah.
don't think I've watched it.
I haven't watched it. I'll have to check it out
I
for
am-
sure.
I am definitely going to watch it. It's
Yeah,
on Disney
and I
Plus.
just-
It said it on the interwebs.
I have Disney Plus.
We have no excuse
I'm a Disney
now.
fan.
Yeah, no, you have to watch it. I got
Okay,
kicked
for
off the
sure.
family plan on Netflix, so I only have Disney Plus now and other stuff.
There's plenty. There's plenty. There's X-Men 97.
That's true. There's X-Men
Yeah.
97.
That's all
Yeah.
you need. I love that.
So
That's awesome. I'll definitely. check
That's
that
my
out.
little train of thought. I just realized that I absolutely just went on an insane tangent that like just ping ponged everywhere, but that's kind of how it tends to happen for me.
That's all right. That's what
how
the
it
show
happens
is.
on this show.
That's what the show is.
Yeah.
That's what I like, actually. You know what I mean? Like I do care about when someone comes on the show. I do care about like what they're currently doing, and I do care about what they're currently promoting, and I do care about all those things. But I kind of want to know a little bit more about them, because I want to know how they got to here.
hmm
You know, and that helps. I think that helps me and maybe a listener get more of a connection with the artist, which gives me a bigger connection to the art.
I,
And
thi-
it
I
makes me,
think
it makes me want to
Absolutely.
dive in a little bit more.
I think just hearing that is like if you listen to this last conversation and then go listen to the record,
yeah,
it's like
it helps you understand
Oh,
it a
okay.
little bit more too.
yeah, she understands story. She understands backstory and lore and how to put that all together. And yeah,
What's up, fam?
yeah,
Bacon listeners? Ever wanted to help out the show? Ever wanted to know a little bit more about what goes on behind the scenes here at Bacon?
Perhaps keep these glasses a little bit fuller.
Mine's empty.
Yeah. Go over to patreon.com/baconismypodcast, where you can get additional content, including tastings.
Yeah, you can get cooking shows.
You can get early ad-free shows.
That's right.
And at even the lowest tier, come participate with us every week in our discussion and drinks episode, where we hang out with you, our BIMP squad.
You're a part of the show. Join us, hang out, weigh in on everything that we're talking about, weigh in on everything, maybe be a part of the show.
Exactly.
It's happened.
Join the BIMP squad.
Yeah.
Get your first week for free over
right
at
now.
patreon.com/baconismypodcast.
What's all bacon?
Yeah, no, I love that. Have you guys seen Haunting of Hill House?
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
I think one of the most groundbreaking lines that I love, and if I ever were to get words tattooed again, I would get that tattoo, is when she says, "It's all confetti." I love that, and I very much believe that. I have been on an animation obsession for the last couple of years, and it's not an accident that like my project starts with an animation.
I have that written down as a question to ask you just because of that, because I was like, this isn't just because it was like I have a story that I want to tell in a certain way, and the best way for me to do it is animation, because it's just going to be too much to try and do filming it. It's like, no, this is an understanding of animation and saying like, I want to use this medium to tell this part of this story.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like a great way for me to be on screen without being on screen. And when you look at an animation, you cannot help but also imagine more, because that's what we always do. Like I literally just finished showing my roommate Spirited Away. She'd never seen
nice.
it before, which
That's awesome.
that's a different
What?
conversation.
Why? Yeah.
I know. I know. And then she was like, we just finished it. And she goes, well, what does it mean? I was like, well, what did it mean to you? Like, what did you feel like about the story? And I know that like Miyazaki's very like the antithesis to Disney. It's like, don't tell them the story, let them kind of get what they get out of it. And I think that there's a time and place for both. Like there is interpretive art and there's art that's meant to be interpreted, and then they're both fine. And animation, I have recently been really excited about, just because with everything that's happening with like AI and everything else, it's still a craft that like while you can do all 3D, the 2D requires a level of like creativity of drawing. It requires a human component to it that the least human thing possible, like it's a cartoon, requires a level of humanness that is fantastic, I think.
Yeah, I can watch those Disney documentaries about the animators and the different styles and how I can
get
do
lost
that
in that
all day, and just seeing the way that they flip the pages and like 120 cells to get 3 seconds of footage. It's crazy. It's
I recently just saw, and I'm going to do a horrible job of explaining it right now, so I will say anybody that this is even remotely interesting to, Corridor Crew is a really cool YouTube page, and it's animators and graphic artists that work on film and movies and stuff, and they break down the graphics of movies, and they
I've seen this.
and they do a really awesome job, and they have animators come on, and they have people come on that do the CG for Marvel movies and everything, and they explain what goes into it. But they were talking about there was this kind of like lost art of how they did the animation for Mary Poppins, because the stuff in Mary Poppins was so flawless. It wasn't like they shot on different, they didn't shoot on different screens, and they didn't do, a lot of times they would have like a screen behind the actor, and then the actor would be performing in front of the screen, and then they would have to composite it and try and do that. They did something with a certain color lights and certain kinds of lenses that had a certain prism that filtered out things, so that they would get a video of the person. They would get a video where the person is completely blocked out and just isn't even there, that they could then put onto whatever animation scene they have. And then they had, whatever the animators were doing. And they were able to put these all together in a way that's never been done since. And they recreated it. They kind of recreated the process of it on one of their episodes, and they shot something with it. And it was crazy how that you could completely zoom in all the way, and you could see fine hairs on somebody with no degradation in anything, and a crystal clear image behind.
It's not like a green screen.
It's a totally different thing. And it's like they had these lenses, and then they got lost, and then nobody ever did it again. And they kind of recreated it. So if anybody's interested in that, I would go check it out, because I just did like a really poor version of explaining it, but it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen, and it was super cool, and that just made me think of it. So that's my tangent that I just want to.
No, absolutely, that's a rabbit hole I'm about to go under. Absolutely.
Yeah, Corridor Crew. They're very cool, and you can look it up. Corridor Crew. They have they break down CGI, they break down animation, they break down stunts. They have stuntmen come on, and they show how stunts were done as well. And it's really, really, really cool. I get lost in their stuff all the time, because they go from everything from like Pan's Labyrinth to Dune to they'll recreate stuff too. They recreated Star Wars, but R-rated. It's like there's blood coming out of like stormtroopers and stuff, and they're just like, we just did it to do it. So
I mean, hot take:
cool.
Star Wars is just Dune.
Is it a hot take? Dune was there first.
Hey, listen. Let us know in the comments.
Let us know. In the comments.
Be nice though.
Nah,
don't be a jerk.
Whatever. Don't be a jerk, but whatever.
Yeah.
If you're going to be mean, no one's going to answer you anyway.
Yeah.
So be nice.
Exactly.
Always be. If given the choice of being nice and being mean, always be nice.
Yeah, it's easier too, nice. Isn't it?
Yeah. Unless it's a response, and then you can be mean. If it's deserved. Right. It's a deserved mean response.
Exactly.
Speaking of quotes or words that you get tattooed on you, I have words that I would seriously get tattooed on me, and they are: you only get to the mountain of Slay by going through the valley of cringe.
I stand by it. That's all I'll say. I'm still by it.
So talk true. About it. We have so true. Oh my God! It's
we have this a another show that we kind of do between guests called Discussion and Drinks.
Yeah.
And the genesis of this is we're both songwriters. We wrote, we write together, we write separate, all that kind of stuff. So we talk about songwriting, and we've gone on tangents and we've gone on rants where it's just like, man, you have to write garbage.
Yeah.
You have to be bad at something before you're good at it.
Absolutely. My advice to every songwriter, like I teach music and I teach singers and I teach guitar players, and when they come to me about songwriting stuff, I'm like, go write 10 songs and then throw them away, and then write 10 more, and then throw those away, and then write 10 more, and then go dig the other ones out of the trash and find the pieces that are going to work and make one good song out of all 30 of those ideas that you put down, and then write 100 more songs. Like it's all about that. There's no truer thing, I think, for any art is you have to create some bullshit so that you can make something worthwhile, or figure it out, or figure out how to do it,
And it takes bravery. Like, you have to be willing. Like, if you are willing to be cringy, that means that, like, you are willing to put yourself really out there. Because I think people are so anti-cringe today, and they're so afraid to be either, like, laughed at or ridiculed or canceled or whatever. There's that big fear of everything. And it's really hard to walk in a room to create something with fear. It immediately is a block, and you will have, like, my favorite advice is be stupid. Like, be okay being stupid. You need to be comfortable being ridiculous, and you need to be comfortable making mistakes. Like, this is the room that I make everything in before it then gets to a serious studio, and I have done a lot of stupid stuff. I've said a lot of stupid things in here, and it's only by, like, going through that we get to, like, the remotely not stupid things. And you can only, like, become better by being bad. And I hate that, because I like to be good at everything right away.
Right.
And when I start anything, I'm like, oh no, I'm not immediately good at this. I'm terrible at everything then. That's how it feels.
Right.
But it's just a new mountain to climb. It's just a new thing for you to, like, break down and learn. And it's just a new thing for you to be stupid at before you get better. It's part of the journey. It's part of the process. And I think that being in a room where you feel safe being ridiculous is an important part of that too. Because I've been in sessions where I'm like, oh, I don't want to mess up here. I very much want to do good. And I'm less productive. I think that, like, I'm better when I'm not trying to, like, if there's nobody there who I feel like I should be feeling like I should impress, where I'm just trying to make stuff to make stuff. And it's like, then let it be dumb. Who cares?
Yeah, you have to. My advice to every vocal student that I ever have is, if you want to learn how to do a voice, make fun of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because your vocal cords don't understand sarcasm. Right? They just know that you learned how to do something new. And so once you get over your brain telling you this is stupid, I don't want to do it, I'm scared of this, someone's going to hear me, someone's going to see me, someone's going to read this, someone's going to whatever. Once you kind of get past all that stuff and you just go, yeah, so what? Like, this is what it is right now, and it'll be something else. The minute you know that one of the greatest songs ever written was Scrambled Eggs, before it was Yesterday.
Yeah.
You know that, like, oh, if the Beatles could make stupid lyrics and then make something good out of it later, I guess it's okay for me. I guess.
Absolutely. I used to be, like, notoriously terrified of riffs. That's something that, like, I hated doing. And I, like, would be very uncomfortable, like, making my own choices. I'm like, no, I'm going to do it how it's in the demo. That's exactly how I'm going to do, and no one tell me differently.
Right.
And I, separately from that, one of my favorite things to do is air guitar. I love an air guitar.
Yeah.
And there's one of my favorite people to collaborate with. We've been working together for years and years and years. They were just like, just riff air guitar. Don't try and, like, yes and oohs and ahs. Just riff air guitar. And that was the mental break that I needed to be like, oh, if I can do it with my air guitar, I can absolutely do it with just oohs and ahs. And I immediately became way more comfortable with it. And even now, like we'll be in, he usually records me. We'll be in the studio and I'll be like recording I'm starting to get in my head, and he just goes, just air guitar. And that's always the solution. It immediately breaks the like tension that I'm holding, and it immediately you have to laugh, you have to like lighten the mood, and it's so much easier to then go and then do it again.
We have to be relaxed to do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anything well, I think. So laughter is usually the best way that I've found anyway, to kind of like relax and let go a little bit and lighten the room and all that.
Yeah.
All that stuff that helps you be more creative is the idea that like, okay, we're all having fun now.
Yeah.
You know, that's what cures the red light panic. You know, like you're recording and you're like, oh shit.
Absolutely.
How's my posture? Does your posture matter any other time?
Right.
No, it doesn't. Just chill out.
Yeah. Laura, we've taken up a lot of your time.
Yes,
and
we could talk.
We could probably talk a lot more. But you know, we're gonna say it here. The door is always open for you to come back, hang out, talk a little bit more with us. But before we head out here, can you just let everybody know where they can find everything, including the brand new short film that is out today?
Yes,
that is out today.
Yeah. So if you haven't already seen it, you've seen this, go see it there.
Absolutely. And you can find me on everything at the Laura Pieri. It's because it's just me. There's just one. I'm on all socials as that, and you can find me on YouTube, and that's also where you'll see all the videos, all the lyric videos, and the short movie. Please, 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 if you don't feel like, that's a new Sabrina Carpenter song, please, please, please. If you don't want to listen to the songs, if you didn't like me, that's fine. At least check the short movie out. I feel like there's something in there for everybody, even if you don't really like the music. Check it out. If you like the music, check it out. And yeah, I'm on all of it as that. I had so much fun here. This was by far one of the coolest chances I've ever gotten to talk about things that are not really music related, but that it's all confetti. It is. It's an absolute pleasure. I love this. This was so much fun.
Awesome. I'm so glad you had fun. And I'll ask you now that you've had some time to think about it, what would you say if I had to narrow it down? What's your bacon?
I think that I've briefly said it a little bit in this interview, but it's stupidity. I think that it can make anything better. And the ability to laugh at yourself is something that I don't think that people have enough. I'm a very lighthearted person, but I'm a very serious person as well. On the other end, I care a lot about like books and history and the state of the world, and I read a lot. And it's so easy to get disheartened by what's just the state of the world and geopolitics and also local politics. It's easy to get really disheartened, and you can see that people are taking what's not serious, and people are not taking what's serious. And I think that being able to be a little stupid on the stuff that, like, I make music, guys. I'm not curing cancer here. If I'm able to laugh at that and make it something fun and joyful and bring a little bit of that into other people's lives, I think that can be an important way to connect. Like I always talk about, we found these amazing things called radio waves. We discovered this incredible thing. And the first thing we did was infuse it with music. That's meaningful. We long for connection, and it's really hard to connect when you're busy that someone's going to laugh at you. Like, who cares? Laugh with it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing can be said better than that. And I will say, as much as you said you're making music, you're not curing anything, I will quote a friend of mine from an excellent band called Veda, if anybody wants to check him out. His name's Aristotle. But he used to say all the time, music can change hearts, hearts can change minds, minds can change the world. And I think that is amazing. So we may not be curing cancer, but never sell it short. And stupidity can be your bacon. I like that. I love that. Everybody that's listening, go check everything out. Please do. You know you want to at this point anyway. what's not to like, what's not to love, definitely go. And we'll see you guys next time. And remember to ask yourselves every single day, what is that thing for you that makes your life a little bit better? What is that thing for you that makes it okay for you to be a little stupid sometimes? What is that thing for you that adds a little joy to your life?
And let me know, because I want to know what is your stupidity. I'm curious. I want to know.
And what is your stupidity? And what
Laura.
is your bacon?
Yes.
Amazing. Before we sign off, I only have one thing to add.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
What was your number?
Oh, you know what?
You know what? He's going to tell it in 3, 2, 1, and now we're off air. So that's how the show's going to end.
Okay, wait, no, please tell me.
I can't say it. I can't say it yet. The
You'll have
last
to come on.
episode.
You'll have to
The last
come on.
episode.
You'll have to come back.
Just show it. Just raise it up. Then you don't have to say it. Just use your fingers. Oh, come on.
Well done. Well done. That was good. That was good. I do love this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Really.
And, like I said, you're always welcome back. You're always welcome. We do an awards show every year where we actually have some of our guests will send in performances, and we'll put on like acoustic performances of songs. People will have some of our former guests will introduce other guests or introduce bands or
receive
awards, all that kind of fun stuff. So
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah,
this was a lot of fun. You guys said like this is probably not like any other podcast you've done, and I've like heard that before, and I'm not gonna lie, in my head I was like, okay,
right,
but it absolutely was. I very rarely I'm a very nerdy person, and I very rarely get to talk about those kind of stuff.
Nice.
And that was a lot of fun. Like I didn't think I'd be bringing up like The Witcher and Dune up today, but here we are.
Oh yeah, feel free to come back and talk about The Witcher anytime. I love the games. I love the books.
I need to get.
I like the show.
That's exactly how I feel about it. I love the games, love the books, like the show. But what I like more than that is I like Henry Cavill's take on the show, because he hated where it was going. He was like, "This is not it."
He pieced out of it because he was like,
I mean, you have to admire that, like, he's so committed to it. That's what I was gonna say. He's so committed to like the version of Gerald that he has in for him that he was like, I don't want to compromise that, and I respect that. Cool. I respect that.
Yeah, I gotta watch it. I haven't. I've been so stuck. Okay. So,
oh my god,
I've been so stuck in like, I'm X-Men '97 like. When I found out it was coming out,
we're superhero nerds.
I started
to the
old original cartoon when I was a kid, and then I went into that, and now all of a sudden I'm back into this like Ninja Turtles kick,
right?
Where I'm back into the comics, and
So. I'm into comics, but I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like lost it on the superheroes after like the lore got too big for me with the like after the Infinity and just the 9 Marvel movies a year. I kind of lost the plot with that. But I can't wait actually for an Assassin's Creed movie. I'm shocked that there isn't one.
There's one.
There,
okay, well, it seems like I'm better off not knowing about it.
Well, Michael Fassbender was the lead.
Yeah.
And a lot of good ideas were started, but it's a watch it on a plane or a day.
I need HBO to bring that HBO budget and do this with and they need to do the Syndicate game. That's the one.
That's a good one. That would be a great movie.
Ooh, that would be an amazing show. It would be an amazing movie. Great show.
Great show. Yeah. I would. Assassin's Creed would be an incredible show.
I agree.
Like that series. It's too big for a movie.
Yeah.
It just is. But yeah, Fassbender's cool, and it's all right.
Okay. I'm right now just we're off air, so I'm just like talking to you.
Yeah.
I'm really into like Interview with the Vampire.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The comparisons with like the Tom Cruise-ness of it all is just really jarring to see, but amazing. I think that like give everybody their Emmys. They've been
I haven't started it
murdering
yet.
this.
Are they?
Oh,
Cool.
you have to.
I will. I love the
you
movie and I
have
love the
to.
book. But yeah.
Oh, you have
Okay.
to. Everybody brought their A game. They're killing it. They're killing
Nice.
it. And like I love the books. This is by far the best Lestat I've ever seen.
Really? Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
No,
I'm
he's
in.
killing it.
Awesome.
Killing it.
Awesome.
Okay. I'm gonna have to
Very
get in
cool.
on that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm definitely a fan of all. I mean, speaking of lore, I'm a fan of all vampire lore.
Yeah.
I love that. And like so I didn't get a chance to talk about this, but my major in undergraduate was evil. I went to Gallatin. You get to make your own major. I'm gonna study evil.
Majored in evil. I love that.
Yeah, and the lore around it is always like I feel so bad because every single monster story, every single like mermaid story, siren, it's all vampires, werewolves.
Right.
It's always like a way to channel to assuage our fears in a way that like makes them manifests. And I love horror as a genre, and I love the like there are certain things about vampire, werewolves, and like mermaids that are just universal around the globe wherever the stories have come about.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, they burst into flames at sunlight, and then you have like Stephanie Myers and go, they glow. And it's like,
right.
Okay, I love that.
Okay.
There we go. Because who said they can't?
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah, I
mean, I wasn't a big fan of bedazzled vampires, but I liked the idea. I just didn't like. I like the books.
The books, yeah.
Better than I like
the book
the movie.
versus the movie.
I mean, did you know that it's like super Mormon?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
No, I didn't know that.
I actually did. Which the Mormon lore is another fascinating topic for me. I always love that. Like, I have the word of God. Really cool. Can I see it? Yes, it is on golden tablets. Cool. Let me see it. It's in my hat. Can I read it? Only I can read it.
Book of Mormon has a
Checks
line
out.
that is like amazing. It's like, you must simply believe. And it's like, I guess that's like the whole point of it all. Because that's the whole thing about like all religions is like, you gotta believe. That's it.
Just gotta go for it. Just gotta go for it. Seems about right.
We didn't get to go into it, but we had like a podcast that's on the network we're currently on, but we're going to be leaving. But like they're Mormons who left the Mormon church.
Yes.
And they just act a fool now.
Right. I saw the Book of Mormon. My girlfriend brought me to go to see it for my birthday one year because she was like, you're going to absolutely love this. And I was sitting next to a girl that I started talking to. We started talking to her during intermission, and she had left the Mormon church 2 months prior and moved to New York and went to see Book of Mormon. She was sitting next to me. She was like, it's crazy how much of this is kind of legit. And I was like, dude, tell me all about it.
I went with like college friends, and my friend, I hadn't seen it before. My friend was from Uganda. He was a little triggered. He was like,
I bet, yeah.
I mean, I have maggots and my scrotum just didn't really sell it. I was like, you know what? I think you are the one person allowed to be mad at this.
Yeah, you can be mad.
Yeah, I get that.
Hey, if art isn't making at least somebody mad, is it really art?
No.
I think you can't make if you're making anybody really happy, you have to be making somebody really
angry.
Mad. There's balance. There's balance in life. I think you have to do it. If everybody's ho-humming in the middle, then you didn't really make anything good.
Yeah. No, and one of my favorite things is like making fun of people without them knowing that you're making fun of them.
Mm-hmm.
I focused a lot. One of my like hyperfixations was on church paintings and like just Renaissance in general and medieval art. How that was so gay, and y'all did not see it. Come on, look at please. Come on, it's painted like Jesus is ripped to shreds.
Right,
he's the most like I know that gay man. He goes to the gym with me. Absolutely, that's who like that was based out of. And
his beard is perfectly
trimmed, and it's like the
trimmed beard.
The pants are always almost too low, but like low enough with like plausible deniability.
You can see the line.
They want you to see the V, you know?
Exactly. And they're putting up that in church. The visas.
That's the thing now.
Yeah. The visas.
Yeah.
See,
I
now we
agree.
have lore.
See, now we have. And
Yes.
I was hoping we would. That's fantastic.
Awesome. Dude, thank you again for hanging out with us. And yeah,
Thank
like
you.
we said, if you don't have time to like come on the show and you got something new coming out, shoot a cell phone video, send it over to us.
Yeah,
we'll pop it in an episode as a commercial. We'll pop it on before the show starts.
Oh,
Promote
amazing.
it for you for
I
a
love
few
that.
weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we'll
Thank
definitely
you.
do
Thank
something
you.
like this again. We'll definitely come on and chat again. Maybe we'll just come on and talk about horror movies and evil.
Yeah,
Please, I could go on for hours and hours and hours. It's a little problematic, but I guess that like no harm, no foul. Like I hate when people are like, I could never kill somebody. I'm like, oh no, I absolutely could. I so know how
Oh,
I
yeah.
do it too. Like
I
absolutely.
could tell
What do
you
you mean?
3 or
You
4
don't
different
think
ways.
Yeah.
like you don't think about this? That stresses me more. Like
That's
I think it's
crazier.
healthy.
That's crazier.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
There-
no, I would love a horror. Like The Exorcist was my comfort movie for the longest time. So like
Oh,
horror movies are
nice.
absolutely a favorite of
Good one.
mine.
I like it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well, let's do
do
that.
it.
We'll do that then. We'll definitely
Watch along.
Maybe we'll do a watch along, or yeah, maybe we'll plan something around Halloween, and we'll do like a watch along or something. We'll do something.
We should. I don't know if you guys know this, but I do every year. I do 30 days of Halloween where I do a costume a day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was not that cool when I was sitting in accounting dressed up as like I was going for like the It monster, but I kind of was giving Wendy's. It didn't land. And I definitely think that's why he failed me. I got A's and B's and everything else, but I failed that one class and it was accounting. And I think it's because he hated my 30 days of Halloween.
That's fantastic.
That's amazing.
Yes. So let's definitely
we should do that.
talk about your 30 days of Halloween. We'll have you on for that.
Absolutely.
specifically. We'll do like a Halloween show.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in.
I would love
cool.
that. I would love that.
Awesome. So we'll plan on that for sure for the future, and we'll keep in touch and everything. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys. This was so much fun. Again, cannot reiterate.
Awesome.
This is a lot of fun.
Thank you so
No,
much.
thank
It was
you.
a blast.
Have a great night.
Have a good rest of your night, evening.
Thank
All
you.
right. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. So something I learned.
Mhm.
YouTube hates long goodbyes. And I was like, I should look into that a little bit. Nobody does outros.
So let's not do one.
Yeah. Intro.
Okay.
Quick intro. That's what I have learned.
Okay.
So
Oh, hold on.
I'll wait for you.
Yeah, wait for me.
No, that's wrong. It didn't happen.
I'm just getting information back up, just in case we want to look at it and say anything.
Well, we want to do quick.
All right.
What was I doing?
You were
was-
clapping us in.
I was looking for there was something that I wanted to. I don't know. Doesn't matter now.
Is that an angry unicorn?
Sometimes, and then sometimes it's not an angry unicorn. Sometimes he's just
they're very
super cute,
sad.
and sometimes he's very.
There we go. I love that. Yeah.
So it's a good interview or a good chat if he's like this. If you see me
I
reach over
love
and do
it.
this, that means nothing good is happening.
Of course, my cat stole it, but I have like a little plush it's a happy octopus, and you can like press it and like change it to an angry
Oh, the
octopus.
upside down one? Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
I always keep it in the angry octopus.
I saw that. I saw it on somebody's show or something like that, and he called it the octopus and then the pesipus. I was like, that's incredible. I love that.
that's awesome.
My drink of choice, unfortunately for myself, is a mezcal old fashioned, and
Ooh.
I do not know how to make them properly. Every time I make them, it's like, this is bitter.
Yeah, that's a tricky one.
Yeah.
That is a tricky one. I bartended for years and years and years. And old fashions are always tricky. Like I don't make a good
They're
one.
so easy to mess up.
I do not make a good one.
Yeah, it's like
He
Negronis.
also
They're
doesn't-
also really easy to mess up.
Yeah. For sure.
I tried doing like an Aperol spritz for my wife
Mhm.
because somebody made one for her and she's like, it's great. And I looked the thing up online and gave it to her and she's like, oh, this is trash. What did you do? What did you do? I was like, I don't know. It's just I've never had one of these things. Of course I tried. I'm like, we should not have bought this bottle. This is
right,
awful.
right.
Oh yeah, no, that's how I feel. I feel like are you guys in New York?
Yes.
So it's like you can tell that the weather starts becoming nice outside because every woman between the ages of 20 and 50 is sitting in some like outside restaurant drinking an Aperol spritz. Like that's
Yeah.
the absolute marker
Yeah,
of like
that's the
summer is
move.
here.
Yep.
I don't know about what's it, the hedgehog, the thing that predicts when the time's coming, when spring's here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the
groundhog.
groundhog.
Groundhog. Yeah.
That thing. I don't know about that. I use ladies drinking their Aperol spritzes to know that summer is here.
Oh,
That's a good one. I'm gonna
I
keep
like
an eye
that.
out. That makes a lot of sense.